are so fragmented, they don't listen to anybody, basically. Is this really peculiar to Muslim societies, or is something we are observing in other religions and other societies, the fragmentation of Islamic authority? They don't have a pope, as though all the Christians listen to the pope.
Well, I'm not sure all Christians listen to the Pope. I think only the Catholics listen to the Pope. And I'm not sure all Catholics listen to the Pope.
I think it's true that, Islam never had an institutional church in the way Christianity had it. And you also know that, starting from Luther and the fragmentation of Christianity itself, even that had to go. And you have the Western Church, it was an Eastern Church, you have the Protestant Church and Protestant churches. The thing is, with Islam, authority has never really rested in persons, it rested in books. So it is what does the Quran say? What do you have in the hadith of the Prophet? Now, so the real question is, how do you interpret that? Okay. And I think one of the greatest challenges we have, and we have to continue with as Muslim scholars, is to understand that there's a sense in which we have de-emphasized a social scientific approach to religion, and basically focused on the philological and jurisprudential approach. So if you were an expert in 15th century English law in this university, you will be known as an expert in 15th century Muslim in English law. However, if you're an expert in 15th century Muslim jurisprudence, you consider yourself an expert in Muslim jurisprudence for all time. And people don't think back and say, to what extent is this religious? To what extent does this law reflect the times? So if you read the Muqtasar today, you will have whole chapters talking about slavery, how you own a slave, how you can buy a slave, how you treat a slave, how you can free a slave, what you're referring to with a slave. That is all part of Muslim jurisprudence. But no scholar today would say, let us go and own slaves, because it is in the Muqtasar. However, when it comes to women, no scholar says this may actually reflect a 15th century societal perception of women, and maybe in the 21st century we need to have a different view. And no scholar looks at, say, the social laws of Islam, say around marriage, and then looks at the social laws of other people in the same time zone. Okay, look at what was Roman law in the 13th century around women, what was Greek law, what was Jewish law, and you might well find that there was no difference at all between Muslim law and Roman law and Greek law and Jewish law. So it was really more a 13th century law than a Muslim law. But you have to have these conversations. And in a sense, like I said, authority is constructed and it is earned. You need to earn confidence and respect. When I push through for a reform, I take a very big risk. Because if the society feels you are here as an agent of an external force, okay, you can easily label, it's very easy to label you, oh, this is a US agent or a Zionist agent or whatever. And if society believes that, you lose all authority. Okay, so I suppose you build that authority and you have to build a consensus. And you have to be careful not to run too fast. And I've made that mistake before, where we're running fast and finding that, I have to slow down a bit to get people. The classic example I give is what was in my FT interview. My daughter read an article I wrote in 2000 on women and political leadership in Muslim thought. Comes to me and says, did you write this article? And I said, yes. Do you believe what was in this article? Yes. So why can't I be the next Amir of Kano? you know. and I have to sit with her and say, listen, look, I'm still dealing with age of marriage, but please do not. I don't want to be going in more trouble. I am not going to start any conversation about a female area, you know, and because I will just be thrown out immediately. So this is kind of, you know, sending her to represent me in Bring Back Our Girls and give a speech was bad enough, you know, for that setting. Now, if I were to ever consider open up the possibility of women being aliens, you know, that's what he's trying to do. But it will happen. I mean, if my daughter is imagining it, maybe her daughter will be able to speak about it, and you know, it will happen. But look, the British just changed the law of succession last year, you know, to allow for a female firstborn, you know, and to remove gender from the criteria for being the king or the queen. So it takes time, and I think we just need to understand that we have to wait a bit for that. And the other thing is, of course, it was the other way. I mean, Muslims try to be sometimes conform so much to expectations outside, and they don't critically interrogate. So take there's this whole thing about interfaith marriage, okay, and whether Islamic law should be amended to allow it, and Tunisia has done that. But today, if you look at the Talmud, if you go to Israel, if you're not Jewish, you don't marry a Jewish woman, you go to convert. If you go to the Catholic Church, if you're not Catholics, you don't get it's part of the sacrament. If you're a Catholic and you're married a non-Catholic, that non-Catholic has to be a baptized Christian for you to get married in the Catholic Church. Otherwise, you don't get married in the church. Now, you can get married under another law, but not under church laws. Nobody is going to ask the Catholic Church to start including Muslims as part of their sacrament. You know, and I really think that there's a sense in which people need to understand that you know, some things are religious, and it doesn't stop people from having do it under another system, but don't feel obliged, you know, and you know, because this is like, hey, you can't go to Israel and say you must change your law. If you don't convert to Judaism, you don't marry a Jewish woman. It's part of the teachings of the Talmud, and you understand that. And so I think we need to keep having this critical discourse and this ongoing conversation and dialogue with ourselves and with others, because after all, we are Africans, we are Muslim. I tell the Arabs, I'm not an Arab. Okay, I'm a Muslim. I can't convert. I can't become a Muslim, and I live in a multi-religious setting. And my attitude to politics in Nigeria, where you have Muslims and Christians, it has to be different from the attitude of a Saudi living in a 99% Muslim country. What you do in Saudi Arabia, you cannot do in Nigeria. So context, even history is important. Geographical context is important, and to that extent, you cannot have one of it.
Thank you very much. I think we can take one or two questions. Where are the mics? Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yes.
Your Highness, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Namado Menyoli. I'm from a village at the bottom of Cameroon Mountain. I'm just a convert, a Muslim convert. And I'm happy to be in your presence today. I came with my brother from Cameroon. We're representing Cameroon. I have a couple of general questions for you without getting too political. One of the questions is, what is your involvement in the AU, which is the African Union? And the second question is, you've suggested a solution, most of the socio-economic problems Kano is facing, and maybe Nigeria is facing. You suggested a solution could be that the family law or the family code, they should rewrite that and maybe reinterpret the law. Do you think that most African nations should rewrite their constitutions? And do you think that would better the position, the economic position of the people of Africa?
When you say AU, do you mean me in AU or Nigeria?
Yes, your involvement in the AU, the African Union.
Do you want to take two or three questions?
If any.
Okay, thank you.
Can I write that?
Huh?
Yes.
there another question? Just raise your hand, please. So, oh, you already have the mic. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. You've made mention of how people in the north, if they obtain Islamic education, were not considered as being educated compared to somebody who is educated in the English version. So my question is, do you consider this as a failure of an educational system or the failure of the state? And if it's the failure of the state, how did the state move to address or remedy this situation?
Maybe a third one. Yeah. So please raise your hand. Okay, we have a third one here. One of the conference participants.
Assalamu alaikum Jazakallah khairan for the lecture you delivered. My question to you, the Emir, some of us, I'm from Nigeria myself, I'm from Kano, we actually saw the antagonism you faced when you attempted to strike conversation about reform in the region. We followed those antagonism closely, and some of us, especially in diaspora, we felt so bad with the way that you were actually silenced when you tried to strike those conversations. So my question is, how do you deal with some of those antagonism you actually got from the clerical establishment and also from the masses who were not really understanding what you're trying to do? How do you deal with such antagonism, and what advice do you have for Muslim youths who are actually also from that region and who are engaging in all these discourses in the region and are interested in following what you're doing? What advices do you have for them? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you answer 3 questions? And then we'll take 3 more questions. Okay, this one. Okay, it's open. It's open.
It's okay?
Okay.
I think it's better. Well, I'm not personally, obviously AU is African countries. I'm not personally involved in AU. I know I've been invited to go and give a talk to the AU Commission on African Economics, but that's not less to do with me being Emir and more to do with being a former central bank governor. I think I will go in June because I couldn't go this month because of the World Bank meetings, and next month is Ramadan. So that's the limits of my involvement with the AU. I don't think there's a need to change constitutions that guarantee freedoms, and I'm not even asking for a change in the law. I'm asking for a documentation and a codification in a manner that deals with the injustices. Now, let me give you an example. So, Muslim family law is recognized under the Nigerian Constitution. Now, if today a woman were to be a victim of domestic violence from her husband, she could go to 2 or 3 different judges and get different judgments. You go to a judge who understands that a man is not allowed to beat his wife under any circumstances in that manner, and who will hold the man responsible and hold him guilty of domestic violence. You go to another judge who believes that a woman is supposed to respect and honor her husband at any moment and say, well, you were rude and you provoked him. And both of them will be right, depending on what you're looking at. But if you have a code that requires mutual respect in marriage and criminalizes domestic violence, then irrespective of what you say your wife did, you do not have a right to hit her, because that is separate from what led to the act of hitting. And that's what codification does. And then once you do that code, I'll give you another example. If you were to go to a scholar today and say, you want to take contraceptives to space your children, a scholar could say to you, this is haram. Another scholar can say to you, you are allowed. Okay? There is a fatwa of the Fiqh Academy of the OIC that is very clear that a couple can decide among themselves to use contraceptives to space children. Now, you can't force them from outside. And there's a regulation against abortion and against killing a child that's been born unless there's but contraceptives are allowed. Now, what we do is taking that fatwa and say, look, we didn't do this is the fatwa of the OIC, and putting it in the code. Once it is in the code, then you can have public policy around it. You can have the government now, without any kind of fear, actually encourage counseling, and people do need to space. In not just Nigeria, in Niger, the average woman has 8.2 children. That's a very poor country. And people cannot maintain those children. And many of them are having those children because, and this is not the LGBT Islam, it's happened in Brazil, in Catholic societies, as well. It's still happening in the Catholic Church about Catholicism. It's not a uniquely Islamic conversation. And I think what we need to understand is these conversations are global and they're within every region, and authority has to be rooted in, for me, the interest in all of this is the Malthusian situation, the need to begin to moderate the rate of population inclusion in order to avoid a demographic disaster. We have, like I said today, 180 million Nigerians. Half of them are under the age of 19. In the next 20 years, you're going to have 85 million Nigerians between the age of 20 and the age of 40. That is the population of Germany, the third largest economy in the world. How do you deal with them? How do you cope with them? And so, again, you've got to navigate your way around this. On the second question, I don't think I think it's really a failure of the state, or it's a post-colonial state. You can't, this was the system set up by the British, but the British left in 1960. And I don't see why no one has ever thought about that. I mean, in Malaysia, the Malays just did it and they treated people. And other parts of the world that have tried teaching indigenous languages or other languages have found that it's worked. If Ajami is modern, Ajami is writing using Arabic letters, the local language. My maternal grandfather wrote all his letters, all his Hausa letters were written in Ajami. He wrote in Ajami, he read Ajami, but today he will be considered an illiterate. But why? Why does it have to be Latin characters? And for me, this is the point. And if we opened up that space, would we have more educated people? Would we be able to mainstream more people and include them? And would we therefore reduce some of the tensions that we have, that we see, that result from a sense of marginalization and excludedness? I don't think I was in any way, well, first of all, I haven't been silent, as I'm still talking about it. And I'm going to talk about it. It is normal, it is natural for a system to react violently to something that shakes its belief and self-esteem. And I think I've always, it's happened to me in the central bank, with the banking system, it's happened to me. I'm used to know that you have to be a disruptive force in order to change society. So the reason most societies don't change is that people do not want to have this reaction. Okay? But the second thing you've got to do is also remember that there are multiple discourses in an environment. And you've got marginalized and suppressed discourses. Now, when I say, for example, that we should fight domestic violence, when I say that women should be given protection in divorce, when I say that women should be allowed to have an education, and you see antagonism, is that antagonism coming from women or from men? Now, why would men